All right, so for day one of my program, it will be kind of speed focused with a emphasis on acceleration. So I'll start with a dynamic warm up, and then I always like to begin with broad jumps, especially when I'm doing acceleration or speed, because it helps teach the necessary hip projection that you see when you're coming out of a stance to accelerate. So one of the first progressions I like to teach is what I call a snap down to a broad jump. So we're going to snap down here, get in a good position on our ball of our feet, and then we'll broad jump out from there. So we'll start with a snap down to broad, and then from there we'll do some repeat effort broad jumps where we're just starting tall, we're getting out, broad jump out, stick, single, reset, and we'll do a couple singles there. So the big key there, like I said, is the hip projection, as that's going to mimic what you see during sprinting takeoff there. Focus on getting the hips through, big jump out, up at a 45, cycle the legs through, stick and land in a good position. So I always like to start with the broad jumps in my speed day. From there, we're going to go into some different wall drills that I like to teach mechanics. So you can use a wall, you can use a partner, and there's different ways you can set up a bar here. But you want to start with a good lean at a 45. And the first thing we're going to do is just do what's called an iso hold. So there should be a bit of an air under my heel. I'm trying to match my shin angles here like you would see during sprinting, and dorsiflex the knee, straight back leg there. So we'll start with an iso hold there just to teach positioning again. Then we'll do what's called a load and lift from there. So I'm going to start in this iso hold position. I'm going to load back here, reaching my leg back, lift through and attack the wall in front of me, driving that knee up. Same position that we saw in the iso hold there. And then the next progression there that I like to work early on is just a simple march. So I'm going to come here, attacking the ground behind us with good foot positioning, good angle, down, back, from my shoulders down to my ankles. Now we get into our acceleration work, and I always like to start with half kneeling starts. So from here, we'll get in a good position here, knee kind of down in the middle of my instep, toe stuck behind me, and I'm going to start tall. I'm going to lean until I'm almost falling forward, and from there, you get a good push out and go with that hip projection. From there, I like to teach a good hard push from both feet, not just pushing off this front foot. I want to lean, lean, lean from my half kneel and push hard and project my hips out like we worked in the broad jump. From there, we get into the kind of meat of our acceleration work, and I like to do cluster sets. So we start with 4 10-yard resisted sprints with a heavy resistance, followed by a free XL after that at a little higher distance. Again, we want to work on good positioning on our start. We want to project our hips out, and we want to stay low, which I didn't do a good job of saying there, but you want to stay low and attack horizontally during the acceleration. So those are the things I'm looking for on the resisted sprint, and then looking for that to carry over in the free sprint as well. So that'll kind of wrap up a typical speed acceleration focused day for me. Then we'll go to day 2, which is change of direction. Again, always start with a dynamic warm-up. From there, I like to work some of my plyos in, more frontal plane lateral stuff on my change of direction day. So anything from double leg hops, I won't go too far into, you can look at my plyo video for that, but double leg lateral hops, single leg lateral hops, just different lateral plyo variations to prep the body and the hips to be ready to change direction. So one thing I really like to do, especially with younger age people or people starting out with this kind of training, is what I call deceleration preparation, because you need to be able to, in order to change direction, you got to be able to decelerate and then reaccelerate in a different direction. So I like to teach the body positioning from the deceleration standpoint. So we're going to start with what's just called a single leg drop. I'm going to start here. I'm going to lift the leg up, fall out, boom, stick in a good position. I want to make sure that my knee is tracking in line with my toes. I want to make sure I have good balance here, that I'm not leaning too far forward with my heel way up or too far back, flat-footed. So you can just start here, do a couple each leg, fall, drop, and stick into a good position. So you can fall out, boom, stick into a good position. So that's kind of the first progression. Then you can kind of ramp it up by doing high knees into a decel there. Same thing, looking to teach good body position, good pressure, center of pressure on the ball of the foot, not too much on the heels, not too much on the toes. From there, we would get into just what's a 5-yard stop. So we're going to start in a 2-point stance, whistle, get out as fast as you can, decelerate, trying to stop right on the 5-yard line, 10-yard line, whatever distance you choose to progress it to. But again, we're taking the stuff we just learned, stopping in a good stance here, ball on my foot, good pressure, feet about hip width apart, ready to go, change direction wherever I need to go, working on reinforcing that body position with the decel prep. Then we'll get into our change direction work. And I like to start with just shuffle the stick. So we're gonna come here, hard push out, stick. And then you can go back the other way, shuffle, stick. Again, looking for those same body positioning of knees tracking line with the toes, good center of pressure on the foot, low center of mass, and sticking in these positions. I always like to teach the stick first, again, to teach that good position. So you can do the same thing with a crossover step. So we would pin our chin back this way, boom, crossover step, stick and hold. Same kind of thing we're looking for there. One of the drills I like is what's called a one-cut drill. So all you're gonna do is pick a line 5-10 yards and call out a foot. So you're gonna accelerate as fast as you can, and then wherever the line is, you're trying to, boom, stop with my right foot here, and my shin angle should be matching the way I wanna return. Now I like to always teach it with a stop and stick first, so I'll whistle in, stick, whistle out, go. That kind of ties together the crossover, the body positioning, the base, everything we've done, it kind of ties all that together. And then just a 5-10-5 drill at the end. Again, so you're gonna start here, 5 yards out this way, 5 yards back that way, 10 through. Just again, that kind of, I like to use those drills at the end to tie together all the body positioning, the shin angles, and everything we're trying to do into one.